So, Frank, you've got a lot of heavyweights now, haven't you?
Well, we got a lot, haven't we? BT, Queensberry. There's some really. I think it's all the new generation, the next wave of the top heavyweights, all on BT. So we're going to keep them extra busy, and we're looking to put a big show on the 13th of July at the O2 in London with them featuring on it. We obviously signed Joe. He's going to have his first fight for us on the 18th of May on the Billy Joe Saunders undercard at Stevenage. Daniel's due to fight on Saturday. We don't know where we are at the moment because he's lost Richard Larty as his opponent. I would say we've lost him. We're waiting to see what happens with the Home Office, who are speaking to their embassy in Accra regarding his visa. They granted all his team, his trainer and his manager their visas, which is no good to us because none of them can fight Daniel. So we're waiting to see what happens because if they do get it, he needs to travel today so he can weigh in tomorrow. So we're going to see what happens with that. A couple of matchmakers also looking at other situations, but we're very limited at short notice as to who we can find. For example, you can't bring fighters in from certain parts of the world because they need to acclimatise and be here under British Boxing Board control regulations. So that's where we are. But having said all that, what an exciting time for the heavyweights and for us at Queensberry and BC. It's a great time.
Do you think it's a bit of a knock-on effect from the Tyson Fury comeback that all of a sudden the British heavyweight scene has got a shot of life back into it?
Well, it has, hasn't it? You know, it was all one-way traffic, and suddenly it's really livened up. And as I say, we've got these youngsters. I mean, Joe's not a youngster, but as far as his career is concerned, he's only had 8 fights. So it's all pretty lively, and the one thing about them, they've all got different styles, but they're all so confident. They all got this tremendous self-belief that they're the best. So we're going to find out which one of them is the best. And as I said, I think even if they all fought each other, and you get a loser, as we did many years ago when we made the fight with James DeGale against George Groves, George won the fight, and James went on to win a world title, as did George. So getting beat is not the end of the world. And with these heavyweights, I think out of these 3, certainly one of them will win a world title, if not 2 of them.
And there is a massive demand for it as well. People are desperate for Dubois Gorman or Dubois Joyce or Gorman Joyce. One of the 3. So this heavy duty card you're talking about, you've teased us. Give us a little bit more of a teaser. What are you thinking?
A bit more teased that we're going to have a press conference next week to announce it.
Oh, but that's next week, Frank.
I know. See, that's you youngsters. You're so impatient. You can't wait.
So
we're working on it. It obviously depends what happens with Daniel, because we want him on Saturday. We're going to run a show whatever happens on Saturday. I hope he's on it. But if he's not, then I've got to get him a fight before, because I can't have him hanging around till July. He's trained very hard. So fingers crossed that we do get something over the line. But by this evening, we've got to make a decision, and that'll lead to what we're going to be announcing next week.
We've spoken to Nathan in particular a number of times about the Dubois fight, and he'd say he'll have it whenever, and I'm sure Dubois feels the same. He's happy to take anything. Do you get the impression of all 3 of these guys that they all want to fight everyone?
Yes, that's the thing. It's a sort of common denominator with the 3 of them, that they all got this, as I mentioned, this self-belief. They all think they got the beating of everybody. It's a confidence level is amazing. And sometimes you talk to fighters, and as much as they are confident, you mention a name and they sort of they sort of brush over it. Not of any of these. They just, they don't care. Let's get it on. Let's fight the best.
And so there's those 3 that are generally considered being as the top: Tyson, Joshua, Wilder. Is a Tyson Fury fight possibly on the cards for one of these 3 heavyweights that you've got?
Well, look, at the moment, let's sort of be really realistic about it. Tyson is the best out there anyway, and Tyson's focused on establishing himself in the States, which is why we did the deal with ESPN. Getting himself established there, and more importantly, is getting a title. He needs a world title. I say he needs one. He wants the world title. So if he gets back and does what I expect him to do to win his titles back, these are great fights. These guys by then, will be, 1 or 2 of them will be coming through, and they'll be the challenge. They'll be great challengers for him. And it's nothing better than an all-British domestic bust-up. And if it's for a world title, don't get no better than that.
The heavyweights are always, the eyes of the world are always on the heavyweight division. It is the one that's most attractive to the mainstream fan, the casual fan as well. Now we're going to start having these heavyweight fights. Do you think this is going to make the Frank Warren and BT stable a even more attractive proposition?
I mean, I would say this, but I genuinely believe it. Look what we've done in a very short space of time. Was it just over? Was it not 2 years yet? We put these shows on. We've gone from ground zero with BT, launched into boxing, and look where we are today. Look what we put on last year. Look what we're putting on this year. It's fantastic, and subscribers are getting the fights. You know, we're not fobbing them off and putting it on pay-per-view, or everything on pay-per-view. They're getting a good quality fights. Obviously, some fights will have to go on pay-per-view. That's the way the business works. But what we're delivering now is you're seeing these guys, you're on a journey with them, you're getting well-titled fights as well. It's fantastic. And I think that I think we'll go even stronger. This time next year, we'll be even in a better position.
And it's a busy old schedule coming up as well. We had a couple of months off, January and February, where I almost forgot that this was the job, and then all of a sudden it's a fight every couple of weeks, more or less.
You've got to do some work, son, haven't you? You can't be laying around now. You get you out there doing plenty of work. That's how I like it. You know, we want to be busy, and that's the name of the game. Putting some good shows on, giving our fighters work, and bringing to the British public via BT, showing them this is what it's about. This is British boxing. Britain is great at boxing. We've got some great young fighters here, some good fighters coming through, and we're certainly great in the heavyweight division. I mentioned it at the press conference, that old adage, Dorothy Parker years ago, when we couldn't find a decent heavyweight who could win a world title, when she said, what was it? If you laid all the British heavyweights out end to end, I wouldn't be surprised. Now they're like buses; they're coming along and they're winning titles, they're winning medals in the Olympic Games. This is a great era for British heavyweight boxing.
And is it also, I guess it's a little bit of a relief as well, because there's a lot of fighters, British fighters, going to America at the moment. America is trying to build boxing back up again. British boxing is the best it's been for a long time, and obviously they're using British fighters to build the status. But now there's not the worry of not having British heavyweight fights.
Well, the Americans need the British fighters to show the heavyweight division over there. That's a fact of life. That's what's happening. So, you've got Anthony Joshua's fighting. Is it in June? He may have another fight this year. Is it going to be in the UK or is it going to be in the States? I've got no idea. Wilder's obviously a Yank and he's based there and he'll fight there. And you've got Tyson, who's certainly his next two fights will be in the States. So prime time, these are the guys that you're going to be watching. These are the heavyweights you're going to be watching. By the time this all sorts itself out at the top, one of these, or as I say, or if not two of them, are going to be ready to challenge one of them.
And speaking of being incredibly busy, June the 15th is an extra busy night for you. You've got two fights. Which one are you going to? Are you sunning yourself in Vegas or are you sticking in Leeds?
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? I just hope I can get to one of them at the moment. I've got a terrible problem with my back. I might be having an operation on it, so fingers crossed I can get through that and be there for both of them.
Is that an excuse coming in already? Because you don't want to apologise to one of them.
I don't want to. No, I mean it is what it is. I mean I didn't. We announced obviously Josh's fight well before Tyson's fight was announced. It is what it is. We just have to work it out and do what we've got to do.
Are you enjoying the build up to that one? Because that's starting to get a little bit of needle, isn't it?
Oh, there's not a little bit. There's no love lost there. Let's say how it is. I mean, there's just not. You're not using it to sell a fight. I mean, there's just no love lost there. And from Josh's point of view, he certainly will not overlook Kid Galahad at all. He knows that he's got there through fighting his eliminators on merit. And he feels that it's got in the way of him unifying the titles. So he feels he told me he'll make him pay on the night. We'll see. It's going to be a tough fight. It's going to be a great fight for the fans, and it's on BT.
And at the beginning of the press conference there, you said that it's a 1-year deal with Joe Joyce. Is that when that was said? Is that a 1-year deal that might become 2, 3, 4? Is that?
You got it. Yeah. There's options there, so we'll do what we got to do.
Lovely, nice one. Thank
you, young man.